Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Hearts of Iron 4, continuing on with Operation Enduring Francedom. So, I haven't been keeping an eye on this army down here and whether or not it needs to keep exercising. It looks like they're all good to go, so let's stop that. There's no need to attrition them anymore. And I probably need to create a new army unit. So let's grab all these guys up here that are currently not doing anything. And we'll create another army unit, but we'll make them part of the line rather than the Alpine front. I might have to switch them around later. There we go. And we'll have these guys exercise, as there are some that need training. These guys need training too, but they're not part of a group. I kind of don't want to make them a group because they would just... I would want them part of this group, but I want them to stay where they are, and if I make them part of this group, they'll just move in. I can always make them a separate group, like with these guys down here, eventually. Yeah, we'll hold off for now. Alright, so let's continue. And how's our production going? So we're starting to bring this down. Our efficiency is back up to 55%. Good to see. And we will soon be getting our better efficiency here. I really am curious to see if that is a stacking modifier or not. The war continues in Spain, although it is very much going towards the Republican side with very little pockets of resistance still left. Although this group down here isn't cut off, as long as I think they have a port, they can get supplies, so... Oh, there goes the last bit of resistance in southern Spain. Once this port falls, that probably will crumble. I'm actually not sure what Republican Spain would have to do to win. Do they have to take all of these colonial holdings as well? Because they've got Morocco over there, and they've got some islands all around and about. Oh, we'll find out. I guess a lot of it depends on the national unity of the nationalists. And we'll soon see, within 4 days, the little Entente. Alright, here we go. Okay, so we've got a bunch of things going on here. So first we have Czechoslovakia joins French faction. Our plan to stop the little Entente alliance from falling apart and away from us is making progress. Alright, so they approved of our efforts and have accepted our initiative to an alliance. Alright, so we're one step closer to rebuilding the little Entente. We have... Ooh, I want to pause things. Got a new news event. We'll take a look at that later. So we've got our national focus completed. And we have the world news, the little Entente. Seeking to form a united front against common enemies, France has reached out to Czechoslovakia with an offer of forming a little Entente to unite against common enemies, thereby foregoing their bonds with Britain from the Great War. While offered a place in the Defensive Pact, the British Prime Minister made it clear that Britain does not consider the alliance beneficial to the protection of European liberty. France have nevertheless established diplomatic ties with other nations that might feel threatened and are encouraging unity for the sake of keeping the diplomatic balance in Europe. To prevent future conflict, only time will tell if they can succeed. Alright, vive la France! And over here, we have world news, Hindenburg disaster. The German passenger airship Hindenburg was destroyed today. Well, okay, so this is the Hindenburg disaster. With public face shaken by this disaster and the rise of much faster passenger aircraft, this could spell the end of an era of airships. Oh, the humanity. Okay, so we need a new national focus, and I want to take a look at the factions here. So if we open this up, We now are a faction. So the French Entente Alliance, which Czechoslovakia has joined. I am not sure what is going to happen when the Axis tries to take Czechoslovakian territory. I don't know if we will be able to prevent that or not. We'll have to see. I do have this set up for historical play by the AI, so the Axis should still go down that course, but maybe some of the choices I've made make that no longer possible. As a matter of fact, I can actually probably check that if I go to the diplomacy screen here. So right now they're going with treaty with the USSR, and we can actually see what that is. There it is, right there. So treaty. So that will lead to the taking of Poland, because this is the division of Poland agreement between Germany and the Soviet Union. And where would they have to go to get Czechoslovakia? So they'd have to go down here. So demand Sudetenland. Let's see. So they need to have more manpower in the field before they can do this. Okay. Will be abandoned if one of the following must be true. Okay. So they can still do this as far as I can tell. They just need to have the manpower to be able to do it. And they have to do this, which we don't know if they've done or not. We know they've done Rhineland. So if they do this, then they can move on to this. And according to what I can see here, they can consume Czechoslovakia as well. So if they go down the historical path and they go down this route, I'm not sure if there's anything we can do about it. But we're allied, so maybe we can. I don't know. It did say that it would have an event for the UK, but not for us. So I'm not sure how that has changed the historical events. Might as well give these guys a commander while I'm thinking about it. We'll give them de Gaulle here. Why not? All right, so very interesting stuff. I need to pick a focus now. All right, now that I have that, I have at 40% national unity, so we're getting there. Now I need to go to strengthen government and then defensive stratagems, and then we'll get rid of disjointed government, and we'll also start building up national unity as soon as we have this. So let's go ahead and start that. And things are starting to progress in a more favorable light. Let's see what's going on with Czechoslovakia over here. I'll slow things down so we can pay attention to it. So going over to diplomacy here. Oop. Republican Spain took 11 states. Nationalist Spain was annexed, and they got some equipment. All right, we'll take a look at that in a second. All right, so they're going with Armament Effort 3. I don't know if Czechoslovakia has its own independent. No, it looks like they have the standard kind of generic focus tree, and they're going very heavy on their industrial focus. And this is what I was talking about. Once you're allied with a nation, you get to actually see what they've done and what they're working on. Well, you always get to see what they're working on, but you see also what they've done. So, but what can we do with them diplomatically wise? So we can stop improving relations. I don't know if that really helps. We can't guarantee them independence because the world tension isn't high enough. It's only at 10%. And they're already in our faction. So all we can really do is boost their popularity right now. All these other things are not under our control. We have very good relations with them, though. Our opinion is not quite as good as their opinion, though. All right. I guess we can stop improving relations. There's no point, I think, at this venture. I mean, We're at 210. So let's stop improving relations. Honestly, I don't know if we get back the points, though, so I don't really know what the point of stopping is. I'll just keep doing it. Whatever. All right. Continue. Oh, yeah, the end of Spanish Civil War. So, with the surrender of the last nationalist forces, the Spanish Civil War has come to an end. The Republicans have emerged victorious, and a new era has begun for Spain. The war-torn country has suffered greatly in the fighting, and there is much rebuilding to be done. Good for Spain. Let's take a look at Spain, actually. So, they like us okay. We're not sure because they are communist. Wow. Okay. So they did go that route. And I don't know if they're actually part of the... We can find out here. No, they're not part of the Soviet Union's faction at the moment. Oop, there we go. But hopefully they're not going to be a threat like they might have been with nationalist Spain. We do see guys moving around on our border, but that could be anything going on. How is our one group progressing with exercise? They're doing okay. How is our construction going? We're about to get another factory. Ooh, we got some aircraft and tanks. So I need to go to research. All right, so we can't get any of the other stuff. We could go with heavy fighter or something like that. I don't think I'm going to focus on that necessarily. What I'd like to do is make myself more the close air support and fighter air cover rather than the strategic bombing or tactical bombing route. And with that in mind, heavy fighters, I would imagine, would be more what you would use to attack. Bombers, I would guess. Just in general terms. As a matter of fact, I could probably compare them. So, range is 1K versus 700. So they have more range. I expected that. Air attack is greater by a significant margin. Air defense is 10 versus 19. Agility is 25 versus 50, so they're much more agile. Okay, I would assume naval attack is probably roughly the same. Max speed is there. Okay, they're the same. Production cost is only slightly higher for the heavy fighter. So area superiority is 1, naval targeting 1, reliability 80%. And that's pretty much the same here. So these guys are mostly just agile. So interception and air superiority are the missions they can do. And they consume 3 aluminum, 1 rubber, and 1 oil, I'm assuming. And we actually consume less resources with the heavy fighter. And they can do the exact same missions. So heavy fighters sound like they're decent. I mean, range-wise, they're pretty good. But if we're going to be just over our own airspace, maybe that's not as useful. In any case, let's take a look at where we're at for engineering. So I'm not interested in that anyway. It's not 1940. We could get radio, which would actually help to some extent. So let's work on that. We're working on those things. That's a pretty quick tech to do. Are we working on really any military tech right now? So we'll focus this guy on mostly military tech. So we can't do that one yet because it's a little ahead of time. We already have Alpine troops. I don't think Marines and paratroopers are really worth it right now, as I don't really see the need for it. We're not going to be attacking. Alpine units we can use for the Alpine front, so that's fine. Support battalions, on the other hand, we have an engineer company, which I'm not sure what this does, but okay. So they help. Yeah, so this sounds like something we'd probably want. Maintenance companies would probably help out your motorized, mechanized, and tank units. And we have field hospital, logistics company, and signal company. Well, out of these, I think the engineer company would probably be useful. Tanks, we've already done what we can do for this year period. We can't do anything else until we get to 39. Artillery, we have some things to do, and we probably want artillery here. So I'm going to go with interwar artillery, which gives me some bonuses for my current generation artillery. And then we could also get anti-tank a little bit later, but we'll do that for now. That's a relatively quick tech. All right. There we go. These guys are still training away. And then we'll do like maybe a central army where I grab these 2 units and some of these guys over here. And we'll start exercising with them. Still getting army experience. So now that we have heavy tanks, currently, none of my tank divisions use them. Like, for instance, if I were to go to this unit here, we can see that it's some motorized infantry and some light tanks. If I go to the other unit, which is just purely tanks, they're all light tanks. No heavy tanks. So if I want to actually add them in, what I'd have to do is click that and click heavy tank. And that would cost me 5. But if I did that, only these units would gain the heavy tanks. No other unit. And I would exhaust all of my current army experience to do that. I think I do have some pure tank units out there, so these are... So this brigade here, that's what we're looking at. So if I were to grab these guys, this is, yeah, so this is one of those purely tank units. And we have another one here. But I don't think all of our tanks are like that. So if I go to this one, this is also a purely tank unit. Well, so far it looks like most of my tank units are that unit. Yeah, I have yet to actually find one of the ones that's more the motorized unit. They all seem like purely tank units. We have another one over here. Yeah, they're all that. So that change would probably be the most important one. Okay, so we only have one of those right here. So if I made that change to that unit, that would actually affect the most of my tank units. So I think I'm going to edit that. I'm going to have to start heavy tank production, though, to really take advantage of that. But we'll add that on, heavy tanks. Out of curiosity, I just want to look at what the difference between the heavy and light tanks that we have right now are before I make any further decisions. So in the research tree, if I go to tanks, all right, so this is 34 tech, so we're a little bit ahead with this tank. So this has a breakthrough of 36. I wish you could have both windows open at the same time. So the same breakthrough. Soft attack is 12 versus 14. So this is a little bit better on soft attack. I'm going to assume max speed is higher. Yeah, these are heavy tanks, so that doesn't surprise me too much. Hard attack is 12 versus 6. Hardness is 70 versus 90. That's no surprise. Defense is 6 versus 5. And armor is 15 versus 70. So, and reliability, I'm going to assume, is about the same. Production cost is a lot higher. Oh, and there's also piercing. So heavy tanks have a lot of different attributes. One thing that I could see may be beneficial here with the heavy tanks is their ability to attack other tanks a little bit better. So I definitely want to, I think, edit this unit to have the heavy tanks, because that would combat maybe the more tank-heavy units we're going to encounter from the Germans. All right, so I am going to save that. That will consume all the experience that, well, most of the experience I've accumulated. And we could add on other support brigades here, but we can't afford it. So this is a good change, I think. Okay. Now we have a problem because we're not having any of that production. So we're going to need that. So let's go ahead and build one of these. And we'll bring it up in priority past the ship so I can at least keep an eye on it. Now, I don't know if I really have the factories I need to devote to get these guys produced. I may take away one of the factories on... But this is so important, the infantry equipment that I'm producing right now. But I think we're going to have to do that for now. Just to get these guys. I'm just going to do this for really quick. Okay, so we have one spare factory. And I'll put it on the production of these. Okay, that should do it. Alright, so we're producing all these guys. This is going to take a while before we get the efficiency up, but 9 a year. Wow, that's slow. Alright, well, hopefully we can get more factories into that eventually. Matter of fact, under construction, I probably really need to get more military factories going. Now, I could get some of those through focus, but I just don't know if we have the time for it. So, right now, we've got a factory building over here. I'm going to put one over here. No, I don't want to max it out, though, so... I guess I'll put it down here. There we go. And I'll build another one here and here. Alright. It's a lot of military factories, but we're definitely behind on military factories right now. So I think we need to do something about that. And they won't get constructed until the civilian factories here are finished. And then we can reevaluate what we're going to do later. So how's our training going? Pretty good. Taking a while for our tank unit to get up there, but it's possible because we switched out its composition. It's under strength, as you can see there. It's probably waiting for units, and... Ooh, good. We're actually getting supplies to train up our infantry divisions here, which is fantastic. We're actually starting on progress of that. Good news there. And we'll probably be redeploying them along this front to form up a continuation of the line once that is constructed. Might as well speed things up. Oh, and I was paused. Now, aircraft production is another thing that I have to worry about. Right now, I may have more modern aircraft, but currently, they are not being produced. So, that's something I'm going to have to change quickish if we want to stand any chance in the war. And once this comes about, I'm going to be a lot happier because we'll be one away from getting rid of this awful penalty that we have with the disjointed government. And then, with this, we'll also be building up unity on a weekly basis for a year. It looks like a lot of our tech's going to come out at the same time. except for improved machine tools, which will help our production to some extent. All right. One more day. There we go. All right. Where do I want this next level of tech? I think I want to stay within construction here. We haven't been doing anything with the resources or construction speed here. I'm going to go with construction speed because I think that gives us factories quicker, I would assume. There we go. Which is something we're sorely lacking in. Out of curiosity, can we actually see the economy of other countries? Like, see how many factories they have? So we know about roughly how big their army is. Yeah, so they have 23 to 29 military factories as opposed to our 11. And do we have an idea of their civilian factories? So we have more civilian factories than they do. I'm almost thinking once I start, like, finish off these civilian factories, I don't think we need any more. I need to focus on more military factories, I think. All right. That is definitely what I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, maybe I should have started working on military factories from the get-go, rather than the civilian factories. All right. So Amelia Earhart disappears. All right, so that's another famous event that happens. A loss for aviation. And we're getting close. 9 more days. Matter of fact, I'm just going to speed things up a little bit more here. Oh, I should keep an eye on... Ooh, what's going on here? Free dockyards. Oh, okay, so we finished a ship chain. Convoys is not something we're really needing at the moment, but I want to take a look at these guys. So we have some training going on here. I think I'm going to stop for now. Because I don't want to attrition the tanks unnecessarily. We already are lacking in production there. All right. So I was going to grab these guys and make them an army. And might as well assign them a commander. Not that it necessarily matters, because I don't know if this is a unit that will be one that we keep around, but it is one we'll use to exercise with. As there are a number of recruit or trained level troops. And these guys continue to progress. We actually almost have all the equipment that they need. Oh, and we can deploy them early, too. That's nice to see, but we'll just let them go for now. But the experience cost of adding in that one unit to our tank unit was not all that bad. Oh, I forgot about the dockyards. We'll do something about that here in a second. All right, so we got to strengthen the government. And we need... First, I'll do the dockyards while I'm thinking about it. All we really have to do is just dole out the remaining dockyards here. Like so. I don't really particularly care about the fleet right at the moment. I think our ground forces are a little bit more important. All right, we got one more to go to get rid of this disjointed government. And that's pretty much all this one does, but it's a good thing, so let's get that going. Oh, it has to run its course. So it's going to be a year before we can do this. Okay, well, at least we got it going. That actually kind of sucks. All right, so if I were to do this again, I might actually think about doing this first. Strengthening the government, and then doing this, because we're going to be getting this out a little late. All right, well, let's go on the defensive focus here and try and work towards the extended Maginot Line while we wait. Okay. But that national unity will help. And the alliance with Czechoslovakia, we'll just have to see how that goes. All right. So we have the Marco Polo Bridge incident, and that's going to be increasing the conflict with Japan and China there. So I think we'll start seeing war declarations over here if they haven't already happened. Matter of fact, let's see diplomatically. Right now, they're not at war with anybody, but in the near future, we'll see that. In any case, I think this is a good point to put a cut in the video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.